guys, let's knock out Block 11 for Object 279. We have to damage 4 different enemy tanks, and we have to do that in 3 matches in a row. And if we want to complete the secondary for this, we need to damage 6 tanks in those 6 different tanks in those 3 matches. Now, again, if you don't get the 4 in any of those matches, you'll fail and reset to 0. And if you don't complete the secondary in every match, that will just fail, and you won't be able to complete it unless you manually reset. So the tank that I chose to do this in is the German Tier 8 medium tank, the Panther II. There's no particular reason that I chose this tank. I did a garage search and said, which tank do I want to use? It does have an accurate gun, so when you're trying to hit stuff, you're good to go there. It also has good gun depression. It has 8 degrees of depression. So if you need to poke over ridges or stuff like that, it's fairly good, and the mantlet is fairly solid. The view range of the tank is extremely high. You won't need any type of optics. But I do feel that there are better tanks to do this in, and I think that's the one downside of using this tank versus other tanks to complete this mission. And we'll talk about those tanks in just a second. For equipment, really nothing special here. I used rammer, gun laying drive, and vents. You don't need any type of optics on this tank, simply because the view range as configured with nothing special on this tank is 440 meters. So you're going to be spotting everything that is anywhere near you. Equipment: 2 repair kits and a small first aid. Bring the repairs because you will get tracked. If you don't have a Panther II, there are good alternatives. You don't need to do this at Tier 8. You could do it at any tier you want, so it doesn't really matter. But I think the easiest way to do this mission is to use the Tier 9 German artillery, the GW Tiger. You can use the Tier 8 as well. Bring the small gun just so you have a faster rate of fire, but because the artillery have a complete view of the battlefield, it's much easier to hit 6 tanks. Also, because of the mobility, I think light tanks are great for this. So something like the Hawk 12 or really anything in that light tank line is perfect for this mission. That mobility is good to get this done. So let's look at some replays here. I sped this up just a little bit because it took a little bit of time to get this done. So this is my first attempt in the first battle. I'm on Redshire. This only took me 1 attempt to do. I failed the secondary in this match, largely because the Panther II wasn't mobile enough to keep up with the front lines to get those last guys that were hiding in the back. And I think that's why using something like a light tank, or preferably artillery if you have it, is the ideal to get this done. Because damaging 6 tanks really isn't that difficult if you just put a little focus onto it. So I'm just gonna work the middle here. We've got guys on the left and on the right. We don't need to be the spotter to get this done. So I'm just gonna try to be patient and try to take any free shots that I can. And you can see if you get a little impatient, you try to sneak a shot, you get spotted, you're gonna get shot. So don't trade HP if you really don't need to, particularly when you haven't damaged anyone and you're not certain if you're going to get the mission complete. So I'm just going to use, again, the terrain with the gun depression. The tank is very tall, so this is a good spot because I can poke over this rock, use the gun depression to get the gun down there, and just be patient and wait for this guy to poke out of this little gully here, put a shot into him. A quarter of the mission is done. So pretty easy to complete this with a little bit of time. This heavy tank rolls up. Put a shot into him, and I bounce off of him. This is where carrying HE is important. I don't want to futz around with trying to aim on armor here, because I just want to get a shot on this guy and then move on. I'm just going to throw HE into his side, not really care about the amount of damage that I'm doing, and be done with it. Now, I've already hit 2 tanks on that side. I don't have visibility on a lot of other stuff over there, so I'm just going to shift to the other side of the map. That's the nice thing about being in this position in the middle, is you don't have to go for it a shift. I get a 3rd shot right there, and then a light tank pops up in front of me, and 4th shot right there. Primary complete. So this is super easy to get done. The challenging bit is if you want to do the secondary, and of course we have to do this 3 battles in a row. If you get 3 enemies damaged in the second battle, you're going to fail this mission. So Second battle on Mountain Pass. Again, I move up into the middle. I want to get early shots on heavies that are crossing here because I have the view range to spot them without the light tanks. I load HE early here because some of the angles are kind of funky, particularly with armored tanks that have their turrets facing you as they're crossing there. I hope to get at least one more shot on a tank passing, but I just didn't. And then it became a question of, well, where do I go next? I could go south and just deal with the tanks that are down there, but I'd have to cross that middle spot there. There's probably another tank over there waiting to snipe me. And the enemy is actually pushing up the ice road, and since all of our tanks are camping at base for some reason, they have no resistance. So I just decided to go up towards the ice road and see if I can't get a couple shots off here. These guys are pushing up really fast, so I'm going to put a shot into this medium tank that's pushing up. I took a little bit of damage to do that, but it's fine because I'm halfway done with the mission, and there's a bunch of tanks down there for me to shoot at. Now I still have HE loaded, and I probably should have switched to APCR here because the HE into a front of a heavily armored tank probably isn't the best way to do damage. I don't know how I didn't do damage with HE on the side of that T-44, but it's fine. The damage will come. Some TDs came across the bridge and pushed right in. I'm going to put a shot into that ISU, and then we're just going to move. I don't really care about engaging with that ISU because there's a second tank back here, and I just want to engage that tank. Now again, had HE loaded, shouldn't have kept it loaded this long. Flubbed a bunch of shots with HE, but loaded APCR and just aimed for the weak spot on the front of his tank and got the fourth shot in to complete the primary. For the second mission in a row. Now the third mission, or the third battle in a row here is a little trickier, and it's largely because of the tanks that are on the enemy team. I'm gonna get a quick shot in early at this little brawling position at the north side of El Haluf. This scout came across and wanted to suicide scout, I guess. That's fine. I'm happy to take the shot. So now I need to do damage to 3 different tanks. Usually a heavy crosses here, and you could poke around the corner, but there's a 4005 on the other side of that, and I really don't want to get hit by that. His 183 millimeter gun will one-shot me and then some. So I'm looking for shots potentially on the middle of the east side of the map. So I backed down, just let that corner develop a little bit. Thought I would sneak a shot into that SU, but he backed off because he got lit on fire. And so I realized I just have to go back up here and figure out how to get my 3 shots in. They'll come. You just need to be very patient, particularly with the tanks that are on this corner. Let your allies draw the fire here, particularly because you're on the third battle of this. You just need 3 more shots into 3 different tanks to complete the mission. No reason to take a lot of risk here. Shot into the turret of that medium. Great. 2 more shots left. The biggest challenge, of course, is the 4005 that's over there, and now we have to deal with the armor of a T95. This gun isn't super punchy, and so I'm trying to hit the weak spots even with APCR, and it is accurate, but it's just not penning. But that's fine. We'll just put some HE into that commander's hatch, and now we just need 1 more shot on tanks. And I'd like to go over there and shoot that medium without getting blasted by this 4005. So I feel comfortable taking a little bit of risk, and I keep looking back to figure out where that 4005 is so I don't get hit. And figure that I'll just push around this corner. I'm going to intentionally take a shot from this T95 because he's not going to one-shot me, and just come up behind this tank and put my 4th shot in. And that's it. This is a really, really easy mission to get done. You can do it in almost any tank. But like I said, if you really want to focus on getting the secondary done, run with Arty or a light tank. I think it's going to be easier. So I think to summarize, you just need to let the match unfold a little bit. Let your team do spotting for you. Don't be aggressive early on, and just figure out where the enemy tanks are, and then decide which are the easy shots for you to take. Also, when you get your hits, just get the hit and move on. As you saw in Redshire, there was, I think, 3 tanks lit in the general area of the castle. I hit 2 of them. There was no reason to really hang around there, and that's why I shifted to the other side. So if you think it's low probability of getting your shots on one side of the map, just shift. There's 15 guys to hit. You only need to hit 4 or 6 of them, depending on which version of the mission you're going to do. So just shift as you need to. And don't forget to carry premium ammo and HE. You don't want to be bouncing off guys on your 4th or 5th shot and not getting the mission done. Just bring some premium ammo, bring some HE, make sure you're good to go there. So this is an easy one, guys. You'll get this done real fast, and you'll move on to the next one. So good luck, and I'll see you on the next mission.